What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Keezy. It ain't easy being Keezy, and I got something special for y'all today. Another starter kit video, but this time we're gonna be talking about the HBA Black Scale Pyrex days. I almost don't have a name for it. They're like the anti-swag boys, even though they came right after them, I guess. But let's talk about it. So very quickly, if it's your first time on this channel, I made a previous video called the Swag Boy Era, and if you're not informed about that era, the jerkin days and all that kind of stuff, the crazy red G-Shock skinny pants, checkerboard skinnies, and all those colorful looks, then I would click here or here. I'm going to provide the link of that video. Maybe you should watch that video first before you watch this one, because it's a little bit of a timeline. It gives you a little bit of history and context. So by starting this video off very similar to the last video, I'm going to break it down into 3 different styles of the era. And the first one we're gonna start with is this one right here. I kind of call this one like the Ben Trill starter kit. I feel as if Ben Trill and Pyrex really kind of kicked it off when it came to this super dark look that you're looking at right here. But back then they just wore a lot of black. In fact, there was almost no color other than the graphics that they wore, because brands like Ben Trill and Black Scale would really only make products that were all black, whether it's t-shirts, hoodies, hats, pants, black garments, and then you'd have that white print. But specifically, the white print would just be huge. It would be so loud that it's as if you're wearing color, but you're not, and you're wearing black and white. I feel like the feeling behind buying these really crazy black and white graphics back then is that, like, the bigger the graphic, the more bang for your buck that you got by spending on these particular items. But if we start from top to bottom, Ben Trill ended up doing a couple collabs, and a lot of these hats were just blank hats that they would embroider, whether it's like Yupong. They would either put some kind of like dripping font or maybe even use some type of old English, and it would be matching top to bottom. So as you see the meme that I made right here, he's wearing a long sleeve, and it's just a simple black long sleeve. It probably was printed on Gildan, and then they used their little drippy font to like kind of cover up the whole thing. And this is also an era where hashtags were really big. And I guess it was Ben Trill, maybe even Pyrex, I don't know, but it was Virgil, Heron Preston, and all those people making these designs by using the hashtag. And I guess the influence or the design aspect behind it, I guess if you can call that a design aspect, was that Tumblr, I believe, was using hashtags, and then the whole Twitter thing was going crazy after that too. And hashtags was kind of more a newer phenomenon. So they would use that direct hashtag and then put it onto the garments as a street design of some kind. Yeah. So before I move on to the next style, I gotta touch up on what I mean by anti-swag boy era, right? And where this is defined a little bit more clear is when, I think it was Black Scale that made the shirt that said "fuck swag" on it, and then it was worn by ASAP. That t-shirt floated around Tumblr. I don't know what year it was specifically, but it was an anti-style against swag boy, because the swag boy thing was just very colorful, and I think to combat that colorfulness, they were like, well, we're gonna wear all black, but at the same time, black outfits aren't really that loud, so we're gonna use like these really huge white graphics to make us stand out. I'm probably overanalyzing it, but what I said feels correct. Alright, so moving into style number 2, if I were to title this in any way, it would sound something like Kanye Rottweiler t-shirt kit or something like that. And I'm gonna flash this photo right here. This photo, or many photos, of Kanye rocking the Rottweiler tee, and there was other celebrities that also had worn the Rottweiler tee too, and it just got super popular, man. Oh my god, it was everywhere. This might have been one of the most replicated products from Givenchy. Now in particular, this kit that I'm showing you right here isn't necessarily an end-all be-all. What you're seeing here, not everybody dressed like this, but I tried to generalize it as best as I could. So again, starting from top to bottom, if you look at the hat, this hat is actually a Black Scale hat, and I think it was worn in a couple music videos during the time. Might have been Pesos, I'm not sure, by A$AP Rocky. But this was made by Black Scale, and they happened to make like 3 or 4 hats that just kind of said these random words. I don't know what the design was behind it, or the inspiration was behind it, but it had words like funeral on it and something that said like illegal. It wasn't necessarily an italicized font, but it was like a stretched out Arial font that they would put across the hats. And there were so many examples of other brand names, whether it was like, you know, people that tried to replicate the idea or just newer startup streetwear brands that would take the same thing, whether it's like on Alibaba or AliExpress. But one thing is for sure about this fit that goes with this t-shirt is that a lot of people started to wear leather pants. And everybody, even if you go on the Google Images and search the Givenchy Rottweiler t-shirt Kanye West, he's gonna be wearing leather pants, and everybody wanted to copy that. So what did everyone do? They went out and bought some leather pants, specifically either slim or most likely skinny leather black pants. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so last up, we got the Pyrex boys, right? Pyrex pots. Totally kidding. Pyrex Vision. Literally a streetwear brand that was built on the back of a narrative about selling crack. But in all seriousness, how can we explain this fit that I'm showing you right here without showing you this memorable video that Virgil made? It's like this artsy video that explained the time and what he was designing, which was Pyrex Vision. I don't even know the title, but it's about Pyrex. But of course, with Virgil's influence and also his connections with people like Kanye and so many celebrities, he had already gotten a following and people had already been keeping an eye on what he was doing. And after Ben Trill, this was kind of his introduction to streetwear, the real introduction, before Off-White obviously. And all I can remember at the time was that either right before or after that video dropped, people really started dressing like this. Like, I kid you not. I mean, it was still kind of keeping that like all black outfit type of thing, maybe like white shoes or something like that. And then you'd have the white graphics to go with it, the hashtags on the hat and stuff. But more specifically, it would be the Pyrex t-shirts. And who knows if a lot of the people that were wearing the Pyrex t-shirts back then was real or was fake. But just very quickly, Virgil had taken Champion hoodies. He took a Champion hoodie and he screen printed on the front and the back, but of course really big on the back, Pyrex 23, and that really kind of went viral for the streetwear community, and all the newer streetwear brands were trying to follow in the footsteps of creating graphics like this. But I mean, also diving a little bit more deeper into the fit, how can you talk about the Pyrex boys without talking about the shorts? You can't forget those shorts, man. Not only did it say Pyrex hella big with those two tabs on the knee area, but people were really putting together shorts in New York. I don't know what time of year that was, but they were having shorts with leggings underneath or something, like black leggings. It would be like black Pyrex shorts, black leggings, and Timberlands. What? But might I add on, not only was it popular to have these Pyrex shorts, or I guess shorts in general, and then having the leggings under it, and it was an actual trend, mind you. Not only was that popular, but on top of that being popular, they started to tie flannels on their waist and put like their t-shirt over it. And I mean, I guess it worked, and maybe even Kanye wore it on stage, I guess a couple times, and kind of made it popular too. And maybe even Justin Bieber, I don't know who did it. And I kind of am pointing the finger at Pyrex for doing this, but they did it, and holy shit, yeah, it was big. And in essence, that is pretty much it. I mean, with the images that I'm showing you here, there's so much to be said about this time, and there's even more to say about it as time passes. Because I think, and I'm gonna kind of leave it off with this, but I think that a lot of people that are, specifically guys that are getting into high fashion now, totally neglect this time period. Because this truly, like I just mentioned, was the transition of guys being comfortable talking about actual fashion because of rappers like ASAP and Kanye, and then being friends with Virgil, and then making Pyrex. And people were really like stepping into actually buying Rick Owens, which was not heard of beforehand. It would just be sneakers, dunks, and maybe whatever you can scrounge up at PacSun. But this again was the transition, and people really try to either neglect this era or don't talk about it, and maybe they were a part of it. And it's like, hey man, don't disrespect tradition. Because the Pyrex days, no matter how cringy leggings are underneath your shorts, It's tradition. It's what it is. Other than that, follow me if you can at KeyZTV. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys and girls keep it locked from clothing, music, to culture. It's your boy Keyzy, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
You want to do, and it's just gonna take a minute, but it's gonna work out. Like if you try to cut corners and you put fucking costumes on to do shit, yeah, you gonna get straight, but at what cost? You know what I'm saying? And how you feel when you do this shit for you, 100% for you. You could grind and stay up for 5 or 6 days and not really be tired because it's for you.